He had exactly $43 in his wallet. He knew this because he had counted it 3 times in the parking lot, sitting in a truck with a cracked windshield and a heater that worked only when it felt like it, before walking into the grocery store with a list written on the back of an envelope. Milk, bread, peanut butter, apples if there's enough. There wasn't enough. Ryan Calloway was 36 years old. He had worked construction for 11 years, managed job sites across Colorado, and never once in his adult life had he stood in a grocery store aisle doing arithmetic on his fingers. But that was before the accident on the I-25 that had shattered his right knee and his foreman job in the same moment. That was before 6 months of medical bills had quietly swallowed everything he had saved. That was before his wife, Dana, beautiful, restless Dana, had looked at a man who could no longer carry the weight she married him for, and chosen to leave. She left on a Thursday. She left behind their daughter. Mia was 5 years old. She had her father's stubborn chin and her mother's curly hair and an opinion about everything. The color of the sky, the correct way to eat a sandwich, whether dogs were better than clouds. She had decided, firmly, that dogs and clouds were equally important, and she would not be argued with on this point. Ryan had not argued. Ryan had held her while she cried for her mother on the first night, and the second night, and the 7th. He had made her peanut butter sandwiches cut into triangles because she said squares were sad. He had read her the same story 41 nights in a row because she said it helped her sleep, and he would have read it 400 times if that's what she needed. He had done all of this on $43 and a broken knee and a heart that had quietly learned to stop expecting anything good. He was standing in the cereal aisle, calculating whether the store brand cost less than the one Mia liked, when he heard her. Not Mia. A voice on a phone call. Firm, unhurried, precise. Cancel the Thursday meeting. Move the Harmon file to legal. And tell the board I will not be attending the gala. I'll explain Monday. He didn't look up. He reached for the store brand. Also, Marcus, find out who runs the workforce reintegration program at St. Joseph's. I want a meeting with them this week. He put the cereal in his basket. No, not next week. This week. Please. He finally looked up. She was at the end of the aisle, tall, in a camel coat, dark hair pulled back, phone to her ear. Not young, not old, somewhere in her early 40s, with the kind of face that had learned long ago that it didn't need anyone's approval. She was looking directly at a shelf of pasta sauce as if it had personally offended her. She lowered the phone. She looked at the pasta sauce. She picked up 3 jars, put them back, picked up a different one, read the label, put that back too. Then she looked up and caught Ryan staring. He looked away immediately. She went back to her pasta sauce. He went back to his arithmetic. He did not know her name. He did not know that her name was Victoria Harmon. Yes, the same name on the file she'd just sent to legal, because that was a different Harmon entirely. He did not know that she was the founder and CEO of Harmon Capital, a private investment firm based in Denver that managed funds across 14 states. He did not know that she had built that company from a rented desk and a borrowed laptop at the age of 29. He did not know that she had been married once, briefly, to a man who had found her ambition inconvenient. He did not know that she had been alone, genuinely, completely alone, for 6 years, that he only knew that he needed to decide about the cereal. He put the store brand back and chose the one Mia liked. Some things you don't compromise on. Before Ryan's story goes any further, and it's going to go somewhere you won't expect, we want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, where in the world are you listening to this story from? If HeartLine Stories has ever made you feel something real, please like, subscribe, and share this channel. Every single subscriber tells us to keep going, keep writing, keep bringing you stories that matter. Now back to Ryan. Because the woman in the camel coat is about to walk back into his life. And this time, neither of them will be ready. 3 weeks later, Ryan sat across a metal desk from a caseworker at the Colorado Department of Labor and looked at a piece of paper that told him his benefits were ending in 30 days. There are reintegration programs, the caseworker said, not unkindly. Job training, placement services. Your knee. Is it cleared for light work? Getting there, Ryan said. There's a program, the caseworker said, sliding a brochure across the desk. No, private funding. They work with companies to place candidates who've had gaps, medical gaps, life gaps. It's competitive, but your construction management background is strong. Ryan looked at the brochure. Harmon Capital Community Workforce Initiative. Rebuilding lives. Building futures, T almost didn't apply. T almost talked himself out of it 3 times. Sitting at his kitchen table after Mia went to sleep, staring at the form on his laptop, listening to the particular silence of a house that is held together by one tired person, he applied at 11:47 on a Tuesday night. He was accepted 2 weeks later. The orientation was held on the ground floor of a glass building in downtown Denver that made Ryan feel, as he walked in, that he had made a wrong turn somewhere. Around him, 14 other candidates, each with their own story of a life interrupted, sat in chairs arranged in a circle, the way things are arranged when someone wants you to feel like you mattered. A woman walked in at exactly 9 o'clock, camel coat, dark hair, same unhurried precision. Ryan went very still. Victoria Harmon set her folder on the table, looked around the room, and stopped when she reached him. 1 second. Maybe 2, then she continued around the room, the way professionals do when they have decided to be professional. "Good morning," she said to the group. "I'm Victoria Harmon. I started this program because I believe that the hardest workers in this country are often the ones who've been knocked sideways by circumstances they didn't choose." She paused. "You didn't choose to be here, but I'm glad you are. We're going to work hard together. And when we're done, every one of you will have somewhere to go." Ryan watched her speak that he thought about $43 and store-brand cereal and the specific arithmetic of a life that has been reduced to its essentials that he thought. She means it. That was the most surprising thing. Not the building, not the program, not the camel coat. She meant every word. The program ran for 8 weeks. Ryan was the quietest candidate in the room and the most prepared. He showed up early. He asked precise questions. When they did mock interviews, he was the one the coaches kept using as an example, not because he was polished, but because he was honest in a way that couldn't be coached. "Tell me about a time you failed," the interviewer asked in one session. "Last year," Ryan said, without hesitation. "My knee went. I lost my job. My wife left. I had $43 and a 5-year-old, and I stood in a grocery store deciding whether I could afford the cereal my daughter likes." He paused. "I bought the one she likes. I don't consider that a failure. The failure was thinking I had to carry all of it alone." The room was quiet. Victoria, sitting in the back observing, wrote something in her folder. She had been watching him for 4 weeks. She told herself it was professional interest. He was the strongest candidate in the cohort. His construction management background translated directly to project operations. It was logical that she noticed him. She was a very good liar. She had also, slowly, stopped believing herself that IT was week 6 when Mia came. There was a mix-up with the after-school pickup. Ryan's neighbor, who usually collected Mia on program days, had a family emergency. Ryan got the call during lunch. He spent 20 minutes trying to solve it by phone, couldn't, and finally walked to the program coordinator with the expression of a man who is about to ask for something he hates asking for. "I have to get my daughter," he said. "I'm sorry. I'll make up the afternoon session." "Bring her," said a voice behind him. He turned. Victoria was standing in the doorway of the coordinator's office. "Bring her," she said again. "We have a break room. She can sit with a tablet or a book. It's 2 hours. Miss Harmon, I can't ask." "You didn't ask," she said. "I offered. There's a difference." She looked at him steadily. "Go get your daughter, Mr. Calloway." Mia arrived in a purple jacket with a backpack shaped like a turtle and an immediate, comprehensive opinion about the building. "It's very shiny," she told Ryan, in the tone of someone reserving judgment. "It is," he agreed. "Do people work here or just look at things?" "Both, I think." Victoria was walking past when she heard this. She stopped. Mia looked up at her with the frank assessment only 5-year-olds can deliver without consequence. "Your coat is the color of a lion," Mia said. Victoria looked down at her camel coat. "I've never thought of it that way," she said. "But yes, I suppose it is." "Lions are brave," Mia said, with great seriousness. "My dad is brave too. He reads me the same story every night, even though he must know it by memory now." Victoria looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at the ceiling. "What story?" Victoria asked Mia. "The lighthouse keeper's dog," Mia said. "It's about a dog who keeps the light on so the boats don't get lost." She paused. "I think Dad keeps the light on for me." The break room was very quiet. Ryan cleared his throat. "Mia, it's a beautiful thing to say," Victoria said softly. She was looking at Mia, but something in her voice was not entirely professional. You're lucky to have a dad like that. Mia nodded, unsurprised. I know, she said, and opened her turtle backpack for her crayons. Ryan finished the program ranked first in his cohort. He was offered 3 placement interviews. 2 were good opportunities. One was a project operations role at a mid-sized development firm. Real work, real salary. The kind of position that would let him stop counting. He took it on the last day of the program. Victoria shook every candidate's hand. When she reached Ryan, she held it a half-second longer. You're going to be fine, Mr. Calloway, she said. Because of this program, he said. Because of you, she said. The program just opened the door. He nodded. He started to walk away. Mr. Calloway. He turned. She was holding a small piece of paper. She looked at it for a moment, then looked at him, and for the first time since he had seen her in the cereal aisle, she looked like a person who was not entirely certain of the next step. There's a coffee shop on Blake Street, she said. They do good pie. I go on Saturday mornings sometimes. She held out the paper, an address, a time. It's not. This isn't a professional invitation. I want to be clear about that. He looked at the paper. He looked at her. I'll be there. He said he was there at 8:53, 7 minutes early, in the cleanest jacket he owned. She was already there. 2 coffees on the table, a slice of apple pie, because she had guessed, correctly, that he was a pie person. They talked for 3 hours about Denver. About the company she had built and the marriage that had not survived it. About construction sites and the specific satisfaction of watching a building rise from nothing. I understand that, she said. I've built things from nothing too. About Mia, who had apparently told her kindergarten class that her dad's friend had a lion coat and worked in a shiny building. About loneliness, the particular loneliness of people who are capable and self-sufficient and have quietly forgotten that capability is not the same as happiness. Do you ever get tired of being the one who holds everything together? Ryan asked. Victoria wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. Every day, she said, and I'm very good at not showing it. I know, he said. She looked up. I saw you in the pasta sauce aisle for 4 minutes, he said. You picked up every jar. You read every label. You couldn't decide. He paused. I thought, whoever that woman is, she makes 100 decisions a day and she's exhausted and she doesn't let anyone see it. Victoria was very still. You noticed that, she said quietly. I noticed things, he said. Outside, Denver moved through its Saturday morning. Inside, something shifted, slowly, irrevocably, the way buildings settle into their foundations. Not dramatic, not sudden, simply permanent. They took it slowly, deliberately slowly. Victoria had been burned by speed before. Ryan had Mia to think about. Always, first, Mia. They had coffee on Saturdays. Then dinner, once, then again. Then a Sunday afternoon at the Denver Botanic Gardens where Mia informed Victoria that flowers were basically nature's way of showing off, and Victoria agreed so completely that Mia decided, on the spot, that she approved that IT mattered enormously, that approval. Ryan had never said so. He didn't need to. Victoria saw it in the way he washed his daughter's face whenever they were all together, as if everything else was background noise and Mia was the only frequency that truly mattered. She had never dated a man like that. She found that she could not stop thinking about it. The moment Ryan knew, truly knew, happened on an ordinary Wednesday evening. He was picking Mia up from Victoria's office. A long story involving another scheduling collision, now a running theme in their lives, which Mia had decided meant that she and Victoria were meant to be friends, and he arrived to find them at Victoria's desk, heads bent together over a sheet of paper. Mia was drawing. Victoria was watching, utterly absorbed, asking questions with the focused attention she gave to balance sheets and board presentations. What's that part? Victoria asked. That's the lighthouse, Mia said. And that's the dock. And that's the boat that almost got lost. And who's that? Victoria pointed. Mia looked at her drawing. That's the keeper, she said. She keeps the light on when the keeper is tired. Victoria looked at the drawing for a long moment. Then she looked up and saw Ryan in the doorway. He didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. Mia colored in the lighthouse, humming to herself. Entirely pleased with the world, he told her he loved her on a Friday night in November, standing outside the Blake Street coffee shop, their breath-making clouds in the cold air, the city lit up around them that he didn't plan it. He wasn't ready. He said it the way true things are said, because not saying it had become more impossible than the fear. "I love you, Victoria." She looked at him, and for a woman who ran 14 state investment operations and never flinched in a boardroom, she looked, for just a moment, like someone who had been waiting a very long time to be told something real. "I love you too, Ryan," she said. "I have for a while. I was just waiting until I was sure you were ready to hear it." He laughed. It came from somewhere deep and loose and long and used. "I'm ready," he said. "Good," she said, and took his hand. They married 18 months later. A small wedding, because Victoria had done the large wedding once and it had not been the point. A garden ceremony in Boulder, on a day in early June when Colorado remembered that it was capable of being paradise. Mia was the flower girl. She took the job with extraordinary seriousness, distributing petals with the precision of someone who has understood that this is an important moment, and also that flower petals are beautiful, and the more the better at the reception. She found Victoria and tugged her hand. "Victoria," she said. "Yes, my love. Are you going to keep the light on now?" With Dad. Victoria crouched down to Mia's level. "Yes," she said. "Both of us. Together. So nobody gets lost." Mia thought about this. She nodded, satisfied. "Good," she said. "Because I'm going to need you both. I have a lot of plans." Victoria laughed, fully, freely, the laugh of someone who has stopped rationing her joy. "Tell me everything," she said, and Mia did. Ryan Calloway had stood in a grocery store with $43 and made a choice about cereal that it was such a small thing, but small things are how lives turn. A choice about cereal. A brochure across a desk. A girl in a purple jacket who told a woman in a lion coat that her father kept the light on. A cup of coffee on a Saturday morning that lasted 3 hours and changed everything. Nobody's story ends in a parking lot with a cracked windshield. Sometimes the next chapter just needs a little longer to begin. This has been a HeartLine Stories original. If this story reached something in you, if it reminded you that it's not too late, that the next chapter is still being written, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you have a story, your own reign, your own turning point, your own moment when something small changed everything, we want to hear it. Write to us at heartlinestories4@gmail.com. Every heart has a story worth telling. This is HeartLine Stories, where yours matters.